Yo, what's going on, party people? It's the kid, the one and only, L Wavy Baby himself. You dig what I'm saying? Tapping in with y'all. One time for the one time from Wavo World. You feel me? I just want to thank y'all as usual, for tapping in. Um, Thank y'all for tapping in for day one, and then another day in day two, and then not day three. You dig? Um, I don't know. I just want to open up with saying, and it's probably in pertinence to, well, no, it really in pertinence to what I'll be speaking on today when we talk about currency. I appreciate y'all energy that y'all give me whenever you receive this from me. I mean, it's not the easiest thing in the world to be something so different. You know what I mean? And then everybody don't receive me the same. You know, and I'll just say that. I'll keep it at that for right now. So just know that I appreciate the genuine love that people give me for me just being me. Like it's not been a difficult, excuse me, it's not been an easy road. It's been a difficult road actually. So it makes it harder to accept self, you know. Um, I'm not a very, what's the word I'm looking for? Easily persuaded person. You can't just make me do whatever it is you want to do just because you want to do it. It has to be something that I want to do, regardless of how difficult it is to stand on my own. I'm very comfortable in doing that. But at the same time, again, it be hard sometimes. Sometimes it's hard to be the only one or feel like the only one in the crowd of hundreds, thousands, even millions sometimes, and you're just alone. So I do appreciate that, you know what I mean? But yeah, so jumping into today, looking at the board on today's vibes, um, man, this a lot of this information today is moved around a billion different times. And I think that's the spirit dealing with me. I've been going through like this period of just frustration, feeling like I hit a wall, feeling like just a lot of different things, and a lot of different things that I don't always express. But again, the saying that I use, and I haven't said it quite yet here, but shout out Rashad Jamal, I am you, you are me. And when I really understood what this means in energy, you know, when I say energy is not created or destroyed, it's only transferred, you know, finding yourself pretty much everywhere, so to say. That's why I use that saying and phrase. I find my reflections, so to say. I'm not the only one out here. I when I bump into people and I give them certain things, that I didn't even know I had. Looking at number three, it says, "You're no different. I'm not special." I mean that with my whole heart. I don't even just mean that from the depths of it. You know what I mean? And I'll get into that. But yeah, um, today's vibes. Why I'm already rich. Slash currency, actually, right? And then number two, how I found it, comma, imagination. And then number three, you're no different. I'm not special. Um, so yeah, let's just jump straight into it. Why I'm already rich. So I probably have spoken on this before and said a little bit about it. Um, I don't look at myself as whatever they see or whatever even you may see right now in this current moment. That's part of the trick though, right? And it's funny because I was listening to something, some months back. It might even be some years back now. Neville Goddard, "Feeling is the Secret," right? And it's really simple, the premise, but living in that, right? Like really living in that is the difficult part. I live as though I'm already in abundance. Like I don't have a measurement on my bank account. Like the zeros that are in it are in abundance to me having millions already. I live like that. You know what I mean? That's not saying I go overboard and frivolously spend. No, I don't even believe in using the word spend money. I believe in using the term invest, um, use, and utilize when it comes to money, right? And then circulate, right? And I say it like that because when I spend money, it's just coming from me. It doesn't come back. But when I use it as a tool instead of a weapon for self, it always serves me, which means that it always comes back. When I say I utilize it, same premise, right? Use, utilize, essentially same type of wording, right? And that's just me taking back the spells in words. I've said this before too. When I was a little younger, it's called spelling words because words are spells. You got to be careful even within the spelling of words. It tell you certain things, and I'll get into imagination in a second on that premise, right? I'll come back to that. But again, speaking on me already being rich, I know that the spirit has no limitations on it. I know that God has no limitations on him. I know that I'm made within the same image that he is, which is in God, in image, and in the image of spirit as well, right? So when I think about being able to draw from the universe, how can I think that I live in lack when what I believe in, whom has created me, has everlasting abundance? So all that I could ever ask is literally there for me. You see what I mean? Now, when you talk about, again, we're taught asking you shall receive, but most of us don't receive because we don't believe that we deserve it. But why wouldn't I? Literally, why wouldn't I? If I didn't deserve, I wouldn't have asked in most cases. And you also have to consider too, behind that for me, when I ask, I expect. On top of expecting, I don't expect, because people get so wrapped up in just wanting what they want. They want it how they want it. They don't expect the spirit to teach them something in midst of that. And it's like, it definitely don't work that way. He'll always test you before he bless you. You dig what I'm saying? Like, everybody knows that saying or phrase, but I don't think we ever, I don't think while we're in the middle of the test, I don't think we ever really consider that. And then we complain and then knock out blessing for sake of not being grateful or having gratitude in everything that we've accomplished or even gotten beforehand, before we ask for what we asked for, right? And a lot of it is just living in that knowingness that it's coming, that what I want wants me just as bad. And it's not even a what am I willing to do to get to it or to get it or to gain it, but paying attention to the things before attaining it to see how I keep it. You learn something every day, but in the same token, it's literally being able to pay attention deeper than on surface level. You have to, right? But also this too, living in that mindset places this, metaphorically, right? But it like places this pot of gold in your soul that you can always reach into and grab out of. Why? Because it's whatever you ask for. If you're really in tune with the spirit and knowing that it will provide, right? Without a shadow of a doubt. The path will lead you to the treasure because the gold is already sitting in your heart. But you have to be willing to embark upon that. You have to be willing to get up and walk and make the proper steps into what you asked for, right? Now excuse me being who I am, I know I'm willing to do that. I've proved that to not just the spirit, but to myself more than anything over these years and just my whole journey of music alone. But again, that it was really me traveling that journey that led me to this spot of being as conscious as I am. I'll tell you a secret. So when I was 20, 21, one of those, pause to say the reason why I pause so long in a lot of my stories before I get to saying like names of situations is because a lot of these people aren't around me anymore. And a lot of it is due to me becoming conscious. Once I realized certain things, certain energies didn't serve me, and I began to move differently and move on. Those energies' true colors always showed themselves and then revealed themselves to who they were all along. And I had to really just distance myself, right? And in a lot of the situations, I don't have any ill feelings of like hatred or anything like that toward them. However, sometimes just speaking on things or people in certain natures, it could bring that feeling. So I tend to be very careful how I give certain things out for sake of that. I just don't want that type of energy placed on anything that I'm doing because that's not who I am, right? But anywho, so at the beginning of my musical journey, when you talk about just coming back home from college, leaving whatever, whoop de whoop, as I would say. But it's like bumped into a guy that I knew that had been making music since high school. He's probably like one of the only people at that time that I actually enjoyed his music because it was so different. And it was just funny because everybody I bumped into that knew me and knew what I was getting ready to do, they was just telling me to link in with him, and naturally I did. In short, we created a label, and we had a lot of artists. Like, man, we had a lot of artists. and that's crazy that I even think about that we brought that many people together. But there was a day he and I were in the studio. I was CFO of the organization. He was CEO, right? So I would just call it like that. I was in the building with the CEO that day, and he made music too. Actually fire, you know what I mean? But yeah. We were in the building that day. I'm making beats and just kind of brainstorming, whatever have you. And a thought just hits me, right? And I'm every bit of, man, I don't even think I'm 21. I'm 20. I hadn't turned 21 quite yet. I believe I was just 20. We had finished the studio. I had made it home, turned 20. The rest of that year, going into that new year, because my birthday is in the middle of the year. I got home in the summer. Yeah, I was just 20. So, or just turning 21 anyway. Brainstorm, the idea just hit me while I'm making a beat. And I was like, man, hey, yo, peep me out one time. Call this a crazy thought, but think about this right quick. Like, gravity holds us down to the earth. Gravitational pull based on mass, like how much we weigh, whatever. But then, like, what's in our head is our brain. But what's in our brain? Thoughts. But like, is it the thoughts that hold that more or less hold our, I don't know, that it's like, I just was thinking to myself at that time, if we're held down to the ground by gravity and mass, and I have a brain, what's holding it, so to say, or what's trapping it into its way of thought, my actual thoughts? And it's like, and I was just thinking to myself, if what holds me or binds me to the earth is my body by mass, and then what binds me to the world is my thoughts. If I can think this one thought and grow it, meaning I think it, you think it, he think it, we think it, doesn't that mean that it pulls down based on me being able to, again, because what holds me to the world and how I view it is my thoughts. Again, I was like 2021 thinking like this, didn't even understand like what that meant or the pattern of thought I was on and into. He was like, bro, that sound crazy, but I get what you trying to say. Like, I understand that thought wave. Nah, let's hold a meeting. And we held a meeting. Now, granted, I explained it a million times better at that time. But it's like, at that moment, I knew I could do anything. I knew that what I was setting out to do was gonna come to fruition one way or the other. I had not a doubt in my mind, even still to this day, that everything that I'm doing is gonna come to fruition in the form of every bit of currency that I need. When you talk about monies or abundance or just being able to have and having my own and creating and cultivating a way of that, within my own brand. I knew that I would do it. At that moment, I knew it. I had not a shadow of a doubt in my mind. Now, when you talk about now knowing what it means to manifest on those bases, yeah, I've definitely found my pot of gold in my soul to reach into every time I need that, right? Now, talking about currency, right? Now, when I look at riches, I don't look at riches as just money. I don't look at wealth and attainment as just things, right? Computers, shoes, TVs. I don't look at wealth that way. Wealth can be found so many different ways. And you can be wealthy in ways that a rich man will never be wealthy in, right? Now, the one thing I know is that when I talked about riches then, I meant money. However, along this journey, I've discovered some things about wealth, about riches that I didn't think that I would discover. And it's funny because when I first read the book, The Alchemist, it sank in the actual realization that I'm even having now. What I learned is that is the character Santiago. I believe that's his name. They're gonna call him Santi because that's what I remember. He found out that there was treasure in the journey itself. Right? Let me say that again because I know my words get tongue tied, and the reason why that is because I have so many thoughts going on in my head. So bear with me, right? It's like Santi figured out truly among his whole journey that there was treasure in his actual journey. There were so many things that he picked up and learned and were able to find as and hold dear to him, things that he valued deeper than actual money. So when he got to the place of actually digging up his treasure, he understood what it meant to actually find this and then continue the next step of the journey. You know what I mean? I done found along this way, like having 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 a knowingness about things, like a knowledge, an abundance of knowledge of things, is definitely considered wealth. Because when you know things, it can put you in places. It can set you up for things that you never thought was possible. Simply because you have the mental capacity to receive what's going on in that room. And it's not about, and I don't mean that in the sense of things are so estranged that you have to just learn how things work, but everywhere you go, things do definitely work differently, right? So when you talk about being able to, along this path, like I've been in so many different rooms, and I had to learn the language of each of these rooms, right? And it's like, had I not, man, had I just not embarked on a journey itself to even get to this spot, I would have never learned none of that, none of that information. And that's been vital. That's been like the most vital thing that I've actually learned. So when you talk about currency, which is money, right? Currency is another word for energy, right? And when you talk about paying it forward or paying with currency or with energy, you have to be very aware, very cautious of the energy you spend and where you spend it at, right? Now, picture this. I've been in several situations where a person will befriend me because my energy is so vibrant and there's things that they can use me for, yet won't acknowledge me for the energy that I am. This is called knowing your value. Because if you don't know your value, the riches that you assume to want, they'll rob you of every time. I've been in rooms where people won't speak to me until I've begun to speak and they've seen what I could provide. I mean, even down to will look me dead in my face, turn their head as if I was unnoticed. But you saw me. Unless I speak directly to you, won't speak to me, won't acknowledge my presence. And having to deal with those type of things, it initially a little disheartening. But when you talk about being able to fully understand how this works and the intimidation factor that you bring just because of who you are, they notice it too. But you have to value that in you, right? Your currency, your energy is your biggest currency, not currency. So if you move in the aura of you're already rich, when you step in the doors in the room, they feel that energy. You hear me? But yeah, let's move right along, right? So how did I find it? And then we have imagination. Right? So keeping it simply put, and I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time here because I feel like this is something everyone could grasp. So if you can see it, you can believe it. If you can close your eyes for a minute, literally, and place yourself in that spot where you know you want to be, and you can see it, you can feel that exact moment. You can feel yourself in the chair. You can see the clothes you have on. You can see how you brushed your teeth that morning to prepare for the day. You can see the other people's reaction to you. You can see the drink that's in your hand as you're presenting what you're presenting, when you can see it that fully, when you can envision it that deep, when you can imagine it that hard, you got it. All that's left for you to do is meet it. You don't know how long, and that's the thing. You can't count the days, time, hours, months. You can't count any of that. Time don't move in the same spectrum as what we think. We've been trained to think a certain way about it. So when you talk about time and ambition and goals, you'll make them at the time that you're supposed to. It's okay to miss your mark, because it's not just a inner working of you. It's a culmination of so many different things, and you have to allow that to happen. But just know, if you can literally close your eyes and taste the moment that you've done it, you already did it. You just got to go do the work. If it's read 1,000 books, do what you got to do. If they say put in 10,000 hours of work into your craft and you'll be a professional or an expert, put in your 10,000 hours. But you saw it, and you know you can see it. And if you know you can see it, you already did it. Not you can do it. All that's left for you to do is move. That's how I found it. Right? So when I get down to number 3 and I say you're no different, I'm not special, you are no different, I'm not special. We all have this capability. We all have this within us. We all have this same energy, this same possibility, this same everybody's inner workings are different for themselves and tailored as their own, so to say, own characteristics. But when we talk about the same power to do what we see others doing and deem it so magnificent, we have the same capability. It's just all up to you to tap into it. Dig what I'm saying? But yeah, I don't want to keep it too long today. I just kind of wanted to keep it at that and give it at that, And if I were to close it anything, I really just want to say, have the courage to live in your abundance. Have the courage to walk in your vision. Have the courage to do something different, because you never know what it may lead you to. Actually, but it could be better than even what you imagine. Dig what I'm saying? Above everything, y'all stay up. Y'all stay safe. Y'all stay blessed. You dig? Love.